in 2 weeks.
Management time was flying.
Man, that's not good.
But aside from that, I'm doing all
Yeah,
right.
jeez.
From where I'm sitting, that clock is almost impossible to read.
Me too.
Isn't that
I do this to set a number.
Go by.
That one's usually pretty close.
It's an inventory.
Pick up the stick and everybody quiets
I
down.
know, dude. Pick up the hammer and they all go quiet.
My eyes are all blurry this morning, so I thought, I bet I'm pretty. I don't know if I can see it or not. They're just super blurry. The countdown is on.
Call this meeting of the Fremont County Board of Commissioners to order. If you all please rise and join us in the invocation from Lauren Coleman from the Ephraim Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Father, you are God. There's no other. And so we pause this morning and we give you thanks for these men and women who serve selflessly our county that you love deeply. And so will you use them this morning and as they make decisions and as they lead and serve this county. Use them to accomplish your will and purposes here. And Father, as we are in the season of Advent, we remember that we are waiting for the coming of Jesus. And so it is in that hope that we rest in today. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lauren. Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall.
Present.
Commissioner Bell.
Present.
Commissioner Payne.
Present?
County Attorney Jackson.
Present.
County Manager Bryant.
Present.
Planning and Zoning Director Garrett.
Present. Thank you. Next, we move to approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, this is our most fun agenda of the year, so I'm really excited to get to today's meeting. So I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, next we move to the consent agenda. I will note that we are scheduling 2 public hearings for January 14th, 2020. One is on amendment of the zoning regulations, and the other one is on approval of a commercial development plan for Skyline Steel.
That, Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Moving on to administrative and informational, we'll start staff and elected officials. We'll start with the clerk's monthly report. Mr. Grantham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Today, motor vehicle fees, sales tax, and recording fees collected for the month of November this year are $1,025,295.04. Fremont County's portion for disbursement is $613,671.25. After issuing a check to the Department of Revenue for $2,939.56 for an specific ownership tax reimbursement. So I'll explain that just real quick. The state collected too much money from individuals renewing their vehicles, and so this is the second time they've done this year. So instead of us reimbursing, the state's going to reimburse them. So we're keeping money away from them, so they can redisperse that. So of that money, which is 60% of the total fees and is a $73,021.09 more than November of last year, Year to date, our office is up $241,608.58 from the previous year.
Wow.
That's a great report, Mr. Clerk and Recorder.
Thank
you for that. Mr. Chair, I move to accept the County Clerk's monthly report for November of 2019.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the clerk's report, monthly clerk report. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, we have the county manager report, Ms. Sunny Bryant.
All right, so just a couple of quick updates from us. We, last week, the Commissioners, Department of Human Services Director, a few representatives from the Transportation Department, myself attended the CCI conference. It's the Colorado Counties Incorporated Conference up in Colorado Springs. So it's always good to meet with other counties, see things that they're going through. They put on really good training sessions up there. So we always are excited to come back and see ways that we can improve things for our citizens and our staff. Yesterday, the commissioners and I met with members from the city of Florence. So we had the new mayor, some of the new city council members, and the city manager. So it's always good to work with them, and I'm really excited to move forward on a new year with some of the new people and see what we can do to help with any projects or anything between the two entities. Is always good to work together. We do have the kickoff for the Grandview Bridge design this Thursday, and so we did receive grant funds to help with the design of that project. So we're starting that this Thursday with a kickoff with the engineer that was selected. And then we are still accepting site nomination forms for the EPA Brownfields grant. So I'm excited to report we actually received one yesterday for a property in Florence. So if you know of any properties that may have some sort of contamination or an assessment needs to be done, reach out to me and I can get you some more information on that. And so we're moving forward with that. So that's all I have.
Very good. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have our Planning and Zoning Director, Sean Garrett.
Okay, so the department's going to be undertaking a project that's going to be changing physical addresses along Colorado Highway, State Highway 115 from beginning around the Brookside area to the eastern county line located north of Penrose. Currently, there's quite a few addresses that don't fall within proper ranges based on their location and mile markers. These incorrect addresses affect the database of E911 and similar agencies, so mainly emergency responders. So we'll be changing them so that they can find these addresses quickly and get to them. We will be sending out notification letters this week to all the affected property owners, so they should be expecting that. This will also be posted on our website, Facebook page, all of that as well. The official change of address letters won't be mailed out till January. That way we don't affect holiday deliveries and all of that stuff. And if anybody has any questions, any affected property owners, I'm more than happy to call us and we'll answer any questions they have.
So Sean, I appreciate that, kind of giving people a heads up. It's something that we're finding in other parts of the county too, and kind of a little more of an explanation. You got mile marker 2 and mile marker 3. We've got addresses of say 200 in mile marker 2. Well, we had addresses of 400 in mile marker 2. So if an emergency vehicle is headed to 400 County Road 1, they go right by the second mile marker to 4, thinking it's there, and it's not. So we've had to adjust some others, and I kind of think that's a similar problem that's on 115.
Yeah, similar to that nature.
So it is kind of a problem, pain in the rear, I guess, so to speak, to get your address changed on a lot of stuff, especially if you've lived there a while. But I think in the long run, it's better that the ambulance and firefighters can find you if need be, or emergency rescue people. So I think it'll be good once it's done. It's going to be kind of cumbersome for a minute, but thanks for the heads up for that, and keep a lookout for those addresses, and I'm sure we'll have questions when that does come around some more. Okay. Anyone else?
Sure. A couple of quick things. First, we had the opportunity to participate in the Canyon City Christmas Parade Saturday night. I think we had record turnout. The weather was absolutely beautiful and so many people there. So just a quick shout out and thank you to the Canyon City Chamber of Commerce for always putting that together and doing such a great job. I also wanted to just back up what Sunny said a little bit about attending the CCI conference a week ago. It's always a really great opportunity to not only network with our peers around the state, but to hear about issues that are important to all counties throughout the state. Occasionally, as in this year, we also had the opportunity to hear from our governor here in Colorado, and that's always interesting to kind of get his take and his flavor on where we are as a state, what he's hoping to do within the next year, because we are already all gearing up for the 2020 legislative session. And it promises once again to be a really interesting, probably a little bit divisive session. So keep watch. It's going to be a good one.
Interesting.
Yes.
That's an interesting word.
It is an
Okay,
interesting
anyone
word.
else?
Sure. Just to follow up a little on Sonny's report on the Grandview bridge design. It's something we've been working on for about 5 or 6 years, and we've been putting money away from PILT to get the match for this grant so we can do the work on this Grandview Bridge. We have several bridges in the county that are failing, and so we have to start somewhere. So we decided on Grandview Bridge mainly because of the traffic. And so I know it's not very exciting in the whole scheme of the world, but for us to get started on bridges in Fremont County is, yeah.
Exciting.
It is, sort of, kind of. And speaking of exciting, I went to a closed landfill initiative meeting at the CCI, and now all of you are going, wow, how exciting is that? But it's something, it's like Ecology Park, that's a closed landfill. We have them all over the state of Colorado. And this has to do with monitoring the landfill and making sure we have safe water coming out of there, there's nothing leaking out of there, that kind of thing. And before I took this job, I was like you guys. I would think, okay, I want you to take care of that. I want my elected official to take care of that. I don't want to hear about it. So many people think we have such exciting subjects that we deal with. We don't. And so this is just an example of things that we're dealing with, but it's time consuming, but this is what we take care of. So this is just an example. So anyway, I'll shut up now.
Some are exciting, though.
Some are exciting. Some are exciting. We deal with stuff with our county attorney that gets real exciting.
So we've got a whole room full of people today, and I appreciate everybody for being here. And it's kind of exciting because of number one on our new business agenda. So I'm just going to not say anything else, and we'll get to that here shortly. This right now is time for citizens who wish to address the commissioners on matters not on the agenda. Is there anyone? Okay, moving on. So we will get to the new business, which is number one, recognition of the 2019 Fremont County Employee of the Year and nominees. So this is pretty exciting every year. Like Commissioner Bell said, it's one of the funnest or best meetings, however she put that. Every year we reach out to anybody that works for the county, and they are able to nominate a person for Employee of the Year from any department. Then once we get all of the nomination letters in, the elected officials all sit down and all of us hash it out and come up with a winner. So that's what we've done. We've got, right now we've got letters for each of the employees that were nominated. So we're going to read these letters in no particular order, and then we will have the 2019 Employee of the Year recognition shortly after that. So we'll start with you, if you want to go first.
You bet. So first, I just want to clarify they're all winners.
They are all winners.
They're all winners, and Fremont County is the winner for having all of these amazing people work for us. So this is just one of the most important things I think that we do as commissioners is recognize the people who work with us, because it's you, it's all of you sitting out there, it's all of you still at your desks, it's those of you driving the road graders out there, doing the job in the trenches every single day. You're the ones who help make us look good. So just truly from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you to all of you. Okay, so we're going to start with Julia Quaid. So, congratulations on being nominated by your coworkers, and we're going to give a couple of specific examples from each of the nominations to let people know why you were all nominated. So Julie was nominated for her positive attitude. She treats everyone as a friend. She responds to requests with congeniality and immediately, even last-minute requests. She also takes proactive measures in accomplishing her job functions. So,
is Julia here?
and how do we want to do this?
Come on up front when we call your name too.
Okay.
We'll put you on the spot right off the bat. All we'll do is have everyone come up, and then
we'll come down and
we'll
present.
come down and of course get pictures.
Yes, we have letters.
Yay!
Okay,
Ought to be first.
we'll get the light off of her pretty quick here. The next nominee is Ms. Carrie Porter. Again, congratulations on being nominated by your coworkers for Fremont County Employee of the Year. Your nomination contained the following specific details on why your coworkers believe you are deserving of the recognition. You go above and beyond, greets everyone with a smile and a can-do attitude, reputation for caring, kindness, patience with clients and staff, faces stressful situations, yet maintains her composure, and has a calm influence on others. It is without question that the county is a better workplace because you're part of it.
Okay, next up, Lynn Monahan, front center. Also from the Department of Human Services. On your nomination letter, it was written, a hard worker who cares about clients and coworkers, diligence in performing job functions with the utmost integrity, treats everyone with respect, is friendly, helpful, and non-judgmental. Thank you for your service to the county.
Sticking with the Department of Human Services theme, Jessica Bilby. Jessica is being recognized by her coworkers because she provides such excellent customer service. She always goes above and beyond to assist her clients, and she possesses great leadership skills. Jessica, thank you so much for the work you do every day.
Now we get to the administrative building here. Miss Marty Keene. She's from the assessor's office. Your nomination contained the following specific details. You have a willingness to help, projects a great attitude, and a go-to person for questions, problems, and advice. Thank you for your service, Marty.
Next up, back to the Department of Human Services, Beverly Merlino. Good morning. On her letter, it was written that she performs job well, not just in occupational competence, but in dealing with people. Her ability add fortitude in approaching cases. She is professional, courteous, and tireless. Thank you so much.
Also from the Department of Human Services, Yvonne Fireherm. Is Yvonne here this morning? There she is. Yvonne, you have been nominated by your coworkers because you have a fantastic job handling and of both internal and external customers' way about you. You are a true leader in regards to customer service, and the people you work with every day tell us that you are an awesome team player. So thank you so much for what you do for Fremont County.
Okay, next from the Department of Public Health and Environment, Christina Taylor. Oh, she says. Oh, right. Congratulations, Christina. Your nomination contained the following specific details. She utilizes innovative techniques working with grants when she's assigned. She provides education for families and the community. She is dedicated, loyal, and a model employee. Thank you for your service, Christina.
And last but certainly not least, also from the Department of Public Health and Environment, Shannon Espinoza. Your nomination is as follows. You were instrumental in delegation of tasks, remaining calm in the wake of concerned patients. And here's one I have never seen before. Infallible pillar of support to your coworkers. That is pretty awesome. Thank you for your service.
Okay, we're going to come down there and give you guys your letters, and then we'll get to this other one.
And I would just point out very quickly, we do have a lot of men who work for Fremont County, but the women are representing today, so good job, ladies.
get closer and personal. The lens won't go that far. Come on, you guys come behind. Do I need to slouch? No, you're good. Okay, 1, 2, 3. We're gonna take another one. Thank you. And please nobody leave. I want a picture out there too.
Okay. As Commissioner Bell said, I think every employee that works for the county is a winner, but we could only have one chosen as Employee of the Year. And so I have a letter, and then we have a little plaque. And this one says, "Congratulations, you've been selected as Fremont County Employee of the Year for 2019. Your dedication and hard work has not gone unnoticed by your coworkers. Your contributions to the county are appreciated, as stated in your nomination. Always goes above and beyond, greets everyone with a smile and a can-do attitude." Excuse me. "Has a deserved reputation for caring, kindness, and patience with families she works with, but also with her staff and coworkers through the use of creative solutions to overcome obstacles. Does not expect others to complete tasks she wouldn't do, or that she herself wouldn't do. Rather, she will be right in the middle of the task, regardless if it family treatment drug court, that doesn't quite make sense. But anyway, we're going to skip that. Getting ready for various audits or monitoring the team. She assists other teams who may be struggling with goals or outcomes by developing a quality improvement plan, with success being the ultimate goal. You reflect pride in Fremont County, and your years of loyal service are commendable. The county is a better place with you as part of it. Your picture will be posted in the Commons area of the County Administration Building next year. Please accept this certificate and monetary award in recognition of your accomplishments. Congratulations and a job well done." And this is for Ms. Carrie Porter. All right, once again, congratulations to all the nominees, and thank you everybody for being here to witness that. It's amazing. Okay, on to number 2. We have a noxious weed year-end report. We have Brittany Pierce, who's our weed director.
Oh, okay.
You can. Are you guys going to stick around? Okay, let's wait for just a second, Brittany.
Okay. Yep. Thanks for showing up.
Thank you all.
They don't want to hear about the weeds.
Yeah, just say it.
This is why they were all nominated for Employee of the Year, because they're all eager and willing to get back to work.
Back to work, yeah. Yeah. How exciting is this? We We got noxious weeds.
It is exciting.
Noxious weeds are exciting. Right, Brittany?
It is.
You got landfills, you got noxious weeds. Okay, all right, Brittany, welcome.
Hello, my name is Brittany Pierce. I am the Fremont County Weed Management Director. I started back in June of this year and have been going at it since. The first slide there recognizes our partners in weed management. We work alongside a lot of local, state, and federal entities. This includes BLM, State, Department of Transportation, City of Canyon City, Florence, NRCS, and many more. We also work alongside private landowners as well as managers and the Fremont Conservation District. We are also heavily involved with the Upper Arkansas Cooperative Weed Management Area. It is comprised of 10 counties with weed managers who work together with the same weed management goals. And we help pull together resources and apply for funding. Okay. Some of the species that we have here in our county, I'm going to go over just a couple of them. I won't go too deep because there's a couple. Some of the list A's, which are listed for eradication in our county, is elongated mustard. That is only found here in Fremont County and borderlines the Chaffee County. I'll go in more about that when we get to that slide too. The giant reed is found all over in Fremont County. It is usually in residential areas and waterways. Japanese knotweed has been found in Canyon City, and like the giant reed, it disperses through fragments, meaning if it breaks off into a piece, it sprouts roots and there's a new plant. And myrtle spurge, that's found all over in Fremont County. It is also listed for eradication. It is poisonous if touched with your hands or ingested. It can be toxic, so we try to get those out wherever we can. Those are found in a lot of residential areas as well. List bees, if you've been along right-of-ways, you've probably seen Canada thistle. It's bright pink in the summer. It's prevalent in rangeland areas. Hoary cress, or called white top, it's usually found in pastures, usually where there's grazing. It can also be found in waterways. Russian knapweed, found along yards or rangeland. It's also found a lot in the Copper Gulch area. Russian olive, so if you've ever been down the Arkansas River, you've probably seen those. They like water. They tend to grow prevalently along the waterways. Leafy spurge also is found along waterways and in some rangeland and sometimes in residential areas. As well as the salt cedar, good friend to the Russian olive, usually is found in similar places to waterways, and many more. Fremont County Weed Management does offer a few programs for landowners. We have a cost share weed spray program, and it is for treatment up to 50% of the cost, up to $500 or otherwise discussed. We try to focus on List A and List B species. We can do List C, but if we try to focus on that, we'd be throwing a lot of money at those. We are qualified supervisors under the Department of Ag. We also offer herbicide at wholesale costs, and that is available for public and private entities. We can offer recommendations and management plans where necessary. This is a map of the area that we have mapped and treated this year so far. It was a short year, but the areas there in green, red, blue, purple, we've been everywhere, so no land is not touched. So we do touch on the City of Florence, Department of Transportation, any right-of-ways, private landowners. That blue polygon there is the elongated mustard project, and that is in the Wellsville area. Some of the work that we've done this year, it totals into 216 acres. On the left there, it kind of breaks it down into the entities. We were able to help assist 22 landowners with funding through the Fremont Conservation District cost share, and that covered 35 acres. And going down the list, Department of Transportation, we were able to cover 25, and then goes down BLM, State, Canyon City, and County. And as well as the elongated mustard, we did treat 128 acres this year. And then on the right, it's just kind of for fun, shows you kind of what was prevalent throughout our season on the ground, totaling the 216 acres. The elongated mustard project, it's been an ongoing project, I think since about 2009 when it was discovered. It's been an ongoing thing since it's a List A, listed for eradication. It is only found in the Wellsville area of Colorado. We're the only place that has it. It spans across over 2,000 acres along the Arkansas River and the Highway 50 corridor. It grows in steep, rocky terrain, any disturbed areas. It does not matter where it grows, it prefers anywhere. This year, as I said, we sprayed 128 acres. Last year was 16 acres. And then prior years, 2017 was 65 and 80 in 2016, and the first year was 160. I believe that we probably had a lot more this year just due to drought over the few years. With all the moisture, the conditions were just right, and seeds are viable for up to 10 years. I think with that, it helped with germination, and we just kind of saw where it could go if we don't keep on it. It is a cooperative effort by Fremont County, Chaffee County, BLM, the Department of Ag, and State Land Board, as well as private landowners. On the left, that is an area where we do treat, and you can see the bright yellow, that's the elongated mustard. On the bottom left, that is the helicopter that we use for treatment. And I don't know if this video is going to show next, but I was going to kind of show what the terrain looked like. I don't know if it's gonna, there we go. So this is kind of what it looks like. This is why we use a helicopter spray. It's pretty steep, rugged terrain. What he uses is a rotor wash. It pushes the chemical down. He's able to make it very accurate and pinpoint where he gets the chemical. The chemical that we use has been researched, and we have not found any negative side effects to the other species on the area, such as grasses, forbs, and trees. It's actually approved for conifer plantations. So that's kind of why we don't drive that area. Okay. All right. Oops. Other species that we've treated this year, these are List A species. As I said, they're targeted for eradication. Myrtle spurge. These were found in Canyon City. You can hand pull them, but as I said before, they are an irritant to your skin and eyes, and they can cause blistering, as well as if you ingest it, it can be toxic. So we can spray or pull. We went ahead and sprayed these ones since they were just right there on the road. On the right there is Japanese knotweed. This one, as I said, it breaks apart in fragmentation and it disperses. It only needs a 1/16 of an inch to make a whole new plant once it's cut. And the roots can go down 10 feet. It grows 4 inches a day, and it can cause a lot of structural damage. As found in the UK, it's a huge issue there. So we have been trying to make sure that that doesn't happen around here. Biocontrol is kind of a newer method that has been something ongoing. It's usually researched before it's released. We did release the Larinus minutus, which is a weevil, that cute little guy there. He targets diffuse and spotted knapweed. 200 count was released on the Copper Gulch Road. He usually buries himself into the seed head, puts the larva in there. The larva eats the seed head, and then they just disperse their way out that way. Canada thistle rust is another biocontrol that we have inoculated along the Arkansas River and Riverwalk area on private lands. We were able to harvest quite an extensive amount in Chaffee County, where they had found a huge site. So we do have some available if anybody's ever interested. It does target just Canada thistle, and it works great. This is the budget for 2019-2020. On the left-hand side is the revenues from 2019 as well as 2020. If you look down on the right at the bottom, after the expenses, we have a $22,000 carryover into 2020. After the expenses from 2020, it leaves us with a small margin, but usually this time of year we have a lot of moving funds, and this is usually the time of year when we secure grants and other types of funding. And also with the year being half done, we were able to work with our contractors that we normally do. They're going to let us roll over all that funding. So I imagine that number will be quite a bit larger. Plans for 2020, we plan to continue our efforts with the elongated mustard spray. I think that it should be a continuous effort. I think we kind of saw what happens if we would have skipped and said, oh, 8 acres is good. So that 120 acres is a big indicator that we should keep on list days, make sure that it doesn't get out of control. Also, plan to educate more about landowners through workshops. We offer management plans and resources. Making sure to educate the public is a big thing, because once other people have their eyes on the ground, it helps us kind of know where other things are, and it can help just spread the word. Dispersing as much Canada thistle rust fungus. As I said, we have a lot, so if there is ever a need for anybody that needs it, or if a place that we can find it, it's a great biocontrol. We can use that. There are other biocontrols that may be available next year that had not been issued before, and these are for new species that I would like to keep an eye on, which is a bigger issue with people and chemicals, so I think it would be a good thing to keep an eye on. And then also just continuing assisting private landowners as well as agencies through projects, and just keeping on top of weed management in Fremont County. And just wanted to say thank you to the Fremont County Commissioners, the Weed Advisory Board, partnering agencies, and Donna and Tony. They helped me a lot throughout the summer. So with that, if you guys have any questions.
That rust is kind of interesting. I've got some that I'm excited to apply, but I'm waiting for the weather to warm up, obviously, but to see how that works on some thistle. Also, as Brittany said, she didn't start till June, so she was a couple of months behind on the spraying season when we had a lot of moisture, as you remember, in the early spring, so the weeds really outgrew everybody. We actually had to contract with the sprayer to try to kind of at least try to keep up a little bit, and we didn't do a very good job of keeping up. So Brittany came in and had to hit the ground running and did a great job of catching up, and of course the weather dried out too, which probably kind of helped, but you did a great job with that. One other thing I want to mention, if you guys remember back at like the third slide, there was the giant reed that kind of looks like a bamboo type plant, and it's all over Canyon City as ornamental in the yards, but it's a noxious weed, so it's kind of interesting. I don't know which landscaper brought that in, but there's a bunch of it around here. So
I'm sure you can find it on Amazon too.
Can you?
Probably.
Well, a lot of these are simply nuisance, but things like the elongated mustard and the Japanese knotweed are actually real problems. And I know when Jana was there, she wanted to make sure we keep that up in the Wellsville area and try to keep it at least contained up there. So it is an ongoing battle. And then the Japanese knotweed, that actually can affect your foundations on houses. And it's a real problem. It's just not a nuisance. So I commend your efforts on that. And like Dwayne said, I know you came in late, and well, we want to give you a challenge,
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you very much.
Many of these, I think, are also very water consuming. And so everyone in Colorado, we're always concerned about water, so that's always an issue. And just a quick question that I have for you, Brittany, is with all of the treatments that have been happening up around Wellsville for that elongated mustard, I know it keeps spreading and you find new all the time, but do we have like a certain amount of acreage up there that you know still needs to be treated? Or do you just kind of look for it every year and see what's happening?
So we would like to further our monitoring and kind of see where it's going, but from what we have, we use a lot of BLM's resources and state resources and private landowners, and they're able to kind of let us know if they've seen anything. We also have a kiosk that we might be moving out there somewhere, and it's a boot brush, and it kind of just allows people to be aware, and it's supposed to clean off the boots and stuff from seeds, from dispersing. And the more that you can spread that out, the more people can visualize on a larger scale how big of an area. And with that Decker fire, that was right there in that same area. And even though the fire didn't spread there, there was a lot of people that were dispatching there and kind of using that as their location for moving machinery and people. And with that, that machinery can move somewhere else. So that's another big monitoring thing that we will have to use. But as far as we know from this year, we just saw about the same acreage, and we've been able to suppress it to that small polygon, about 2,000 acres or so.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. You've done an excellent job your first 6 months.
All right.
It's an interesting point. And see, some things are interesting that we deal with, Tim.
See, they are.
The fire, they did bring in a lot of equipment and man boots on the ground as well. They do have wash stations for those equipment going in and coming out, but how well those get washed, who knows? So who knows where those dozers came from, what kind of seeds they're carrying in there. But I think Brittany and I have kind of already talked about it a little bit. We're going to have to watch that burn scar up there, because there will be mustard and thistle for sure probably come back in that. But and then Chaffee County is aware of that as well. So anytime we have a fire, anything Mother Nature like that, we do have to monitor stuff a lot closer because of stuff like that causes it. But thank you, Brittany.
Thanks, Brittany.
All right. Exciting. See, not this week.
Exciting.
All right, number 3 on the agenda is behavioral health updates. We have Brian Turner, who's Solvista CEO. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, good morning. Let the excitement continue.
Yeah,
That's right.
I'm Brian Turner. I'm the CEO for Solvista Health. And a couple of weeks back, I was talking with Commissioner McFall and talking about some behavioral health issues, some things that County Commissioners Incorporated is working on. And we just got to thinking that it would be a good idea to, with some sort of regularity, have Solvista come to the county commissioner meetings and just present on what are we doing and what is kind of the state of behavioral health for Fremont County right now. And so that's really what I hope to spend some time doing. I'll walk through a few points, but really I want to just entertain whatever questions you might have, shape this and future presentations to whatever you find most useful, and take it from there. So if that sounds good, I will start by just saying I've been the CEO for Solvista Health for not quite a year and a half now. Moved to Canyon City from Denver in June of 2018. Thought I was doing a pretty good job with my garden. Turns out it's just rampant with noxious weeds. I just noticed, so that's disappointing. I'll have to track you down.
Brittany can help you get rid of this.
That sounds right. Yeah. So, but it's been extremely fun to come into this community, get out of Denver, move to this part of the state, and join an organization that has a really rich history and kind of step in and continue to build on that legacy, and really we've been doing quite a bit, so I'm excited to share that with you. Solvista Health, for anybody who didn't know, used to be West Central Mental Health Center, and so we rebranded several years ago as we expanded to doing more than just mental health, including substance use disorder services and integrated primary care services here in Canyon City. We've been a nonprofit organization serving Fremont County, Chaffee County, Custer County, and Lake County for over 57 years. We hope to continue doing that for another 57 and in perpetuity after that. Our goal as a community mental health center really revolves around choice. And so what we talk a lot about is wanting to make sure that we define ourselves as an employer of choice, a provider of choice, and a partner of choice for the community. As an employer of choice, when I started, we had 107 total headcount for our FTE. I'm really proud of the fact that we give gainful employment, meaningful employment to a lot of folks in the 4 counties that we serve. We've grown that number over the last year and a half to, as of this last month, 175 total headcount for the organization. And it's not just mental health clinicians that we're hiring. We have a lot of administrative professionals, IT professionals, business folks, data analytics folks, and then also certainly clinical folks, both mental health, substance use professionals, and here in Fremont County we have family nurse practitioners that provide integrated physical and behavioral health care to folks. So really proud to be a significant employer across the 4 counties, and want to make sure that everybody's aware that as a nonprofit we contribute to the local economy as well, and that's something we're really proud of. Provider of choice means that we want people to have options of where they go to get their behavioral health treatment. But we want to make sure that we can serve as many folks as possible that want to choose Solvista as their provider. There has been an incredible increase in demand for mental health and substance use services over the last 10 years. Some of that has to do with expansion of Medicaid and insurance programs. I think more of it has to do with a huge increase in awareness about how significant mental health and substance use is impacting our communities. And neglecting to do something about it is not a good strategy. We need to step in, we need to invest, and we need to get people the support they need, because recovery is possible. People do get better. People get the services they need, lead meaningful lives, and the work that we do makes an incredible difference. So we offer outpatient mental health services, outpatient substance use services. That's everything from individual therapy, group therapy, DUI classes. We have expanded significantly over the last year into criminal justice collaboration and programming. So trying to prevent our law enforcement officials and our jails and our prisons from, quite honestly, being crowded with people who may not necessarily have criminal justice as the main driving factor for why they are involved in the criminal justice system, but untreated mental health and substance use disorder issues. So if somebody is on law enforcement's radar over and over again, or landing in jail, or hey, the emergency department over and over again, because they have an untreated mental health issue or an addiction issue, not because they're committing violent crimes or some other really nefarious criminal justice offense, there's a smarter way to handle that, and a more cost-effective way to handle that. And that's by intervening upstream and trying to get folks the supports they need. So that includes everything from, we do a co-responder program here in partnership with Canyon City Police Department, where we have a clinician riding along with a trained, when I say trained, with specific training in mental health, with a law enforcement officer, and they're responding to 911 calls that are really mental health related. So somebody who is calling because they're thinking about hurting themselves, or somebody who is maybe having a psychotic episode. Maybe there's just a lot of commotion coming from the street corner or in front of a business or from a home. And that co-response unit will go to that scene. The public safety element is always first, so the law enforcement secures the scene, really assesses and makes sure that it's appropriate for kind of a mental health approach to occur. And then that trained crisis clinician steps in, de-escalates, and oftentimes they find a way to divert from the situation escalating and somebody committing a crime, or finding a way to get them into treatment rather than purely a criminal justice response. So that's a really exciting program we've had in Canyon City since July. We also have that going up in Leadville. So we'll be looking forward to reporting back specifically on the data that we collect, whether it's a reduction in jail bed days, which would certainly have a budget impact, and how much time the rest of our public safety officers are spending responding to mental health related calls. I hope we'll see a significant reduction as we have a dedicated unit managing that. In addition to that, crisis services is something that we've invested a lot of our resources into over the last year. We have a dedicated team of trained mobile behavioral health clinicians. We often pair them with a peer, somebody with lived experience with mental health or addiction who is well into their recovery and goes through some training. And they go out and they respond to the emergency department, Dairy Queen, homes, the river, wherever it is in the community where somebody is having a crisis, and that's up to the individual to define. We don't ask questions and say, sorry, that's not a crisis, we're not going to respond. We go. Our default is always to go and help manage that. And we see the research shows across Colorado and the country that when you do that and you do that well, you do reduce people clogging up our emergency departments and, again, ending up going into the criminal justice system. So that's something we're really proud to have grown significantly. The other thing that I'll highlight, well, two things. One, we're looking right now, we're putting in a proposal. We'll be developing a detox and a 24/7 crisis stabilization facility in Salida. That serves as a sort of regional hub for the 4 counties that we serve, as well as the north side of the San Luis Valley, even over Monarch Pass into Gunnison, and potentially even drawing down from Park County and maybe even Summit County, depending on what makes most sense for treating an individual. And so right now we have No detox in any of those counties. We have no facility that if somebody needs a bed, needs a place to stay for, say, 5 to 7 days to de-escalate from a crisis, we don't have that option in any of those counties right now. We spend an incredible amount of money and time, often involving our ambulance services or law enforcement officers going to Pueblo, Colorado Springs, Denver, Grand Junction, where those services do exist. And then those individuals almost always certainly come back to the community, but without a very thoughtful approach to how we've streamlined and gotten them back into a continuum of care, so it becomes a thing of recidivism and people cycling in and out of the system. So we're building that resource in Salida right now, and that will certainly be of help to Canyon City and helping our population here. And then I'll quickly mention that the schools are a huge emphasis. We'll be part of the integrated school-based health center at Canyon City Middle School. We have embedded clinicians that we send over to all of the school districts across the 4 counties, almost all, and we want to continue to see that grow because we know that the social and emotional health of the kids is critical for their academic achievement. I know there is a legislative priority in front of CCI related to behavioral health. I'm happy to field any questions there. I know your time is limited, so I'll shut up for now and take any questions.
Thanks, Brian.
You bet.
I appreciate what you're doing. As we all know, mental health is kind of seems to be on the rise for whatever reason. So I appreciate what you're doing. How can someone that either themselves or a family member that has somebody that wants treatment, what do they need to do to get a hold of you, or how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, a number of different pathways. Certainly coming into our locations, we have one out on Justice Center Road on the east side of town. We're moving our child and family program. We are underway with some remodeling construction off of 9th Street in the old Daily Record building. You can call us anytime. It's 24/7, and figure out how to get in for an appointment, kind of schedule an appointment as normal. If you have Medicaid, you can walk in, open access on Tuesdays and Thursdays anytime. And then there is a statewide behavioral health crisis hotline, which is 844-273-TALK. There's also a text line. I don't remember what that number is. I can send that out as a resource. And people can talk to somebody, a licensed, trained individual, and if appropriate, they will connect with us to dispatch crisis response locally.
Very good. Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, I would just like to add briefly, I think we all are either related to or know someone very closely who either has a substance abuse issue, an addiction issue, a mental health issue. These issues really do hit home for every single one of us. So I just would like to say thank you so much for the work that you're doing. Things have changed dramatically, I think, in the last year and a half since you arrived on the scene. And so thank you for your work here, and keep it up.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. I would ask that if you do have questions specific to the accountability and transparency bill that is being considered by CCI right now for the upcoming legislative session, please reach out to me. I have a lot of opinions on the matter, not enough time on the agenda to share those with you, but would really appreciate that opportunity to share as we head into session.
Well, there's supposed to be a meeting this Friday.
And I've been participating in those stakeholder meetings, Commissioner Payne, and
Okay.
will certainly be there on Friday as well.
Yeah, I'm going to look at calling into that myself, and I'm hoping we come to some resolution on that, on what we can do on that transparency bill.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Okay, thank
for
you,
your time.
Brian. Appreciate it. All right, on to item number 4. It's a resolution to join the Rural Jumpstart Program. We have Mark Valentoni from the Upper Arkansas Area Development Corporation here this morning. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for allowing me to be here today. As Commissioner McFall just said, I'm Mark Valentoni. I am the administrator for the Upper Arkansas Area Development Corporation. We are a department of the Upper Arkansas Area Council of Governments. So why I'm here in front of you today is to ask the county to please pass a resolution to join the Office of Economic Development and International Trade's Rural Jumpstart Program. The resolution is to establish Fremont County as a Rural Jumpstart Zone and to provide the tax relief incentives that go along with being a part of that program. A little background on what this program is and the history of it and how this process works. So the Rural Jumpstart Program was based on Senate Bill 15282 and is now in Colorado Revised Statute 39-30.5-101. So it is passed by this state of Colorado, and this program provides the following tax benefits: relief from state income taxes for the new businesses, relief from state sales and use tax for the new business, relief from county and municipal business personal property tax for the new business, and relief from state income taxes for the employees. This is a joint effort between institutions of higher education, counties, municipalities, and the businesses and the employers themselves. There has to be a memorandum of understanding between an institution of higher education and a business that wishes to apply to the program. Businesses that wish to apply to the program do so through OEDIT, the Office of Economic Development and International Trade, and they do that in partnership with the higher institution. Businesses that are wishing to apply to this must meet a couple of pretty strict criteria. They're not just any new businesses. They cannot compete with any existing business throughout the entire state of Colorado, and they cannot be formally in operation at all within the state of Colorado or within the zone in which they wish to participate. And the zone has to be a designated economically distressed area, as done by OEDIT. Fremont County fits that bill as they use the same enterprise zone designation to determine that. So considering this is the first resolution I've ever asked the commissioners for, I now would like to field any questions that you may have. I have the 37-page program manual sitting here in front of me. So I'll do my best.
Read that in its entirety.
And,
for the record.
and I was going to say, sitting over there is a really great place for that to be.
Perfect. I'll just turn it off.
So I have a quick question for you. We have had the opportunity to discuss this. We think it's a really great idea. Fremont County already does offer the incentives that we are allowed to, but what we typically have done is to sit down with individual businesses to discuss the structure of that. So this instead is, I don't like the term, but it's kind of a boilerplate. This is what you will get and receive, but it's much larger than what just the county is able to offer. So I think, as far as I'm concerned, that's really the benefit to Fremont County and to businesses that we're looking at attracting here or trying to bring here. So having said all that, it seems to me as though it is a little bit of a complicated process. And you mentioned a couple of times that businesses or institutions of higher learning would work through OEDIT to get all of these things done. Do we have an actual local contact point or a person that someone could call locally and say, you know, hey, Mark, or hey, Rob, I want to do this, but I don't have any idea how to get started. Do we have local help available for that?
Yes, and I'm not very good at this, but I guess you're looking at him. So since I've been in this role, this is actually a piece that has been kind of missing throughout the region, the Upper Arkansas region, is somebody to be that kind of point of contact to take advantage of all of these wonderful programs for economic development, because really that's what this is. This is a tool in the toolbox for economic development. We've seen incredible growth here in Fremont County, and we just need somebody that can be that point of contact. So really, that's how I got involved with this program, was actually a business came to me and said, do you know anything about the Rural Jumpstart Program? My initial reaction was, no, I've never heard of that before in my life, but let me find out.
But I'll find out.
And so I called Ken Jensen, the program manager up at OEDIT, and here we are today.
So do you have, would you like to offer a phone number or something?
Absolutely.
That if
Yeah,
folks are
so
interested?
Absolutely. So my direct phone number, cell phone, is 719-371-7862. That is the Upper Arkansas Area Development Corporation main line. Please contact me at any time there, and I'm always happy to help businesses through any of the programs that OEDIT may offer, or even maybe some of the county offer. I don't discriminate based on where the program's from.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I have one more quick question. I also understand that municipalities and cities are allowed and able to participate in this as long as the county has already offered it countywide. So have you talked to our local cities in terms of participation in this project as well?
I have talked to the city of Florence. So right now we have two businesses that are looking to utilize this program. One of them is located just outside of Florence. And they're actually not within Florence city limits. So as of right now, they do not need to get that passed through Florence. But I have been in touch with Mike Patterson and other council members there in Florence. I have not yet discussed this with the city of Canyon City, as the business that is located in Canyon is a little ways out yet. So I have not brought this to them as of yet.
But you will be doing that soon?
Absolutely. I'll be doing that as if you guys pass the
Great.
resolution today.
I think the way I understand that too is that they have to pass a similar resolution, but their resolution is no good without ours.
Correct.
Right.
You
So we have
guys
to
are
do it
really the
first,
first
right?
step.
Yes.
Really today to establish the zone itself, to say Fremont County is a rural jumpstart zone. That is the first step so that other dominoes can begin to fall.
All right, perfect.
I think, Mark, just for a little bit of a clarification, I think this is not just for hamburger shop, because they're, of course, in competition. So they're unique business opportunities that can't compete with other businesses in the state or in the area. But there's also a commission who decides whether these are eligible businesses or not for that. And I think this has been in place for 4 years.
Yes, I believe it started in 2016.
And I think on a whole, there's very few businesses that have applied for this have qualified for it. So it's really, really a unique niche.
Yes, and I actually have the exact numbers here. So there are currently 12 companies statewide that take advantage of these incentives, and they're only located in 2 counties, Mesa and Montrose. And actually, 11 of them are located within Mesa County.
Wow.
And one of them is in Montrose. So we would be the 3rd county to take advantage.
So it kind of, as Commissioner Bell stated a while ago, it kind of opens the door a little bit wider as to what we can do for incentives to help to bring business here, which is going to bring employment and everything else. As long as they fit that unique small line of qualifications, I think it's pretty cool.
Well, and that's been in the past, if you offer some kind of incentive for a new business, you got existing business going, well, wait a minute, what about us? But for this, as Commissioner McFall said, it's for unique business that isn't in the area or in the state for that matter. So you're not competing with that same niche, and I think that's very important.
Absolutely.
I think it's been said now 3 times, so yeah.
And that was very
So
much
yeah,
the
I think it is
intention.
important.
That was the intention of the commission. I think you guys actually had the opportunity
Yeah.
to meet the commission. They were in town November 20th and 21st. And yes, that's very much, I use the phrase unique and innovative. They have to be
Yes.
unique and innovative businesses that are brand new to Colorado and the community.
So everybody needs to put their inventor thinking caps on and
That's
fit
right.
that specific niche.
Yes.
Yep, for sure.
All right, so Commissioners, we do have a resolution here, if it is your will to proceed with this.
Sure, Mr. Chair, I move to approve Resolution Number 34 to join the Rural Jumpstart Program.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 34 to join the Jumpstart program. Any further discussion?
Sure. I just would say thank you for bringing this to our attention. I've kind of heard in passing over the last few years, I've heard the program name, never had anyone explain it to me, say Fremont County needs to sign up for this, jump on it and get started. So thanks for bringing this
It was
forward.
my absolute pleasure, and I appreciate that. It's, like I said, my absolute pleasure to be able to do this for my community. So thank
Thanks,
you.
Mark.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, commissioners.
Okay, on to some more exciting stuff here. I mean that sincerely, Commissioner.
Of course you should.
We had a couple of openings this year in the Fremont County Tourism Council. We had two individuals that decided not to up their to try to be on that board anymore. So we sent out a request for letters of interest. We did receive 2 letters of interest to join the board, and in my opinion, there are 2 very good, exceptional candidates for this. My computer, there we go.
I would say at least one of these folks already has attended several Tourism Council meetings, and so they have a true handle on what the board is, what will be expected of them, and that's not always true when we appoint folks to this board. So I'm really excited to be able to bring these 2 on
Can we
board.
do these together?
And I think one of them is 100% tourist business. The other one draws a lot of tourists. So they're both in the tourist industry, which is part of the criteria of being on the Fremont Tourism Council Board, as well as being engaged with the board and trying to figure out how to bring more tourists into the area, which helps our economy, as we all know.
Okay. I may need some help with the last names here. I move to appoint 2 new members of the Fremont County Tourism Council for 3-year terms ending December 31st, 2022. That would be David, would it be Prine?
Yep.
And Hans Prahl.
Yep.
Those are the 2 appointees that I move to put on the Tourism Council.
I'll second.
So it has been moved and seconded to appoint David Prine and Hans Paul, gotta slow down. on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the Fremont County Tourism Council, terms ending December 31st, 2022. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, number 6 on the agenda is a resolution to adopt the 2019 Fremont County, Colorado Personnel Data Privacy Policy. Ms. Brenda, would you care to speak on this a little?
Sure. House Bill 181128 requires governmental entities who maintain paper or electronic documents containing personal identifying information about members of the public, basically, to develop and maintain a written policy for destruction and proper disposal of these documents. So this resolution before you is adopting a policy in compliance with this law for destruction and proper disposal of the documents. The policy will apply countywide to all elected officials, department heads, and personnel of Fremont County government, and it brings the county into compliance with the state law.
Very good. In today's world, unfortunately, data is it's out there and it needs to be secured. So whatever we can do to help with that.
I would say thank you, Brenda. That was a very succinct explanation of the 8 pages of very complicated language that we have in front of us this morning that you had to put together for us. And so I just would like to say thank you so much for your impeccable work as always. And with that, Mr. Chair, I move to approve resolution number 35, adopting the 2019 Fremont County Personal Data Privacy Policy.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 35, adopting the 2019 Fremont County, Colorado Personnel Data Privacy Policy. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Seeing no further business before us, we are adjourned.